This is the Bulgarian Split Squat, one of my favorite leg exercises and one of my favorites to target the glutes in a lengthened position. I'll be showing two different ways to do this exercise, one with a platform and one as I'm showing right here with a crossbar. That way you're able to get flexion of the ankle and not have it flat like on a bench as you see often. You can do it on a bench, but I prefer doing it like this or with the platform, and I'll explain later in the video why. If you're using a platform, have it to where it comes up halfway up that shin. Right here I'm using a step-up platform where it's adjustable. If you are setting up like this, make sure that the crossbar is 3/4 up that shin all the way up to the bottom of the knee. As far as preference goes, I prefer doing it like this. I feel like I get a better stretch on the glute and I don't have myself up as much with that back leg. However, it does require a little bit more balance, so you could start with a platform to elevate that back foot and move on to something like this. I also prefer setting it up like this, where your ankle is free to move if you're doing it this way, versus elevating it on a bench. When using a bench and having that back ankle fully extended, you're typically going to feel a lot more stretch on that hip flexor, and as a result, you're likely going to help yourself up a lot more with that back leg than if you have that ankle free to move. You also might experience some pain at the hip if you're not flexible. Now that we got that out of the way, whether you're doing it with a crossbar to elevate that back foot or a platform, the setup is pretty much the same. Elevate that back foot and then drop that back knee down to the ground. Then scoot that front heel forward to where the front of the knee is right on top of the beginning of the shoelaces. Then we're going to try to mimic as we're doing the bottom half of the rep with that knee down on the ground. So have that chest over that knee, and also you can have those arms out to the sides pretending you're carrying some dumbbells to make sure that you are setting up correctly. If you're feeling a lot of stretch on that back leg, it either means you have that back leg elevated a little bit too high or you have that front foot a little bit too far forward. At the bottom of the movement, the front of the knee should be in line with the top of the toes. If you struggle with pushing that knee too far forward as you're going down, you can use a foam roll as I'm showing right here to improve the technique. Take that eccentric nice and controlled, keeping that core tight and holding those dumbbells tight as well. Make sure that that torso is slightly forward so where that chest is over the knee. It's going to give you a lot better stretch on the glute and minimize use of the quads. On that way up, push through that heel as much as possible, squeeze that core so that you don't lose balance, and at the very top, don't lock out that knee too hard and push it back. To help improve balance on that way down and also increase activation of the glute, as you're going down, imagine like you're still pushing that heel down into the ground. Gently make contact with that knee on the ground. You can even get a pause to really feel that stretch on the glute. I'm also using a lifting belt, which is particularly useful, especially when you start using heavier dumbbells. When you have that chest leaned over that knee and that back slightly forward, it's going to help you protect that lower back and also improve bracing as you push down through the ground. I'm also using lifting straps on those dumbbells to help me with the grip and not have to worry about letting go early. Split squat's already hard enough, so you don't need to increase fatigue by having to hold onto those dumbbells super tight. Also pay attention to how I'm setting up that back leg once I'm in position. Place those feet hip width apart, and for that back leg, just move it just directly back. This is going to give you sufficient balance, and as you can see when I'm going down, that knee is just going straight up and down. If you're losing balance and on that way down, that knee is kind of coming out to the side, it likely means that you have that back leg a little bit too directly behind that front leg. If you experience that back knee kind of coming in towards the center, it likely means that you have that back leg a little bit too far out to the side. To minimize help with that back leg when you perform this exercise, imagine like you're trying to push that front foot down through the ground and squeeze in that core. Also keep that head down looking at those toes, that way you can make sure that the knee doesn't cross too much over the front of the toes. And will also help you ensure that you're in slight hip flexion, allowing you to get a good stretch on the glute. You also notice that I have these little things in front of my feet. Whenever I get set up, I just put them right in front of those toes. That way I don't have to redo my setup every single time. You could also use weight plates instead of these little things as well. I also like to do a drop set of this exercise, so whenever I get anywhere between 9 to 10 reps done, and I can't get any more out, I'll go ahead and drop one dumbbell, get anywhere between 2 to 4 reps out again, and then I'll drop the other dumbbell and try to go for 2 to 4 reps just on my body weight. Trust me, this will get your legs and your glutes burning. Another thing to make this exercise a little bit easier is when you're using dumbbells, especially heavy ones, I like to have them set up on a platform, on a bench, something elevated, so that way when I'm putting my rib straps on, or even just grabbing them, I don't have to lift them just straight off the ground and potentially risk hurting my back, or just taking my body overall more. Let's grow those legs and you know what to do, like and subscribe please.